How exciting is this?
This is so awesome. I can't wait.
I can't wait for you to
I've been waiting for this day.
I cannot wait for you to teach me how to make this.
Who doesn't love kanafe?
I mean, who doesn't love cheese?
Right? Cheese and
sugar.
sugar.
And sugar.
Yes,
All the
yes,
things
yes.
that we're not supposed to be eating.
I know, the diet starts tomorrow.
There's an old Arabic saying that you should give your friends your money and your blood, but don't justify yourself. Your enemies won't believe it and your friends won't need it. This saying is about selflessness. This leads me to the introduction of my next guest, Kenda Arzon, a woman whose grace and kindness bodes strong on the exterior without explanation, apology, or a need for anyone but her to understand. Kenda's life is a story of crossroads and big pivots. Today, I'm meeting Kenda where she is at in life and sharing her story as an example of hope and strength through unknown times and big changes. Kenda, I am so excited to be here today having this conversation with you. We've talked about this for a year and a half now, when you were living in San Diego, and now that you're back in Chicago, we always said that we were gonna do something together, and now look at us. I get to interview you and hear
so awesome.
your story and put it out there. So let's talk. What brought you back to Chicago?
Oh, it's like a dream come true. I tell you, it's been a long time. I've been gone for 16 years. You know, during the pandemic, my husband was looking for work and an opportunity landed in his lap and they brought us back home. I couldn't have asked for anything better.
Take us back 16 years ago when you were in San Diego. What was that like?
Back then, 16 years ago, I had to leave everything that I built in Chicago. I had to leave all that behind and move to San Diego, a city that I've never been to. I didn't even visit it before. We got the opportunity for work, same thing for my husband, and we went out for the interview and
that was it.
that was it. We moved to San Diego and I had a really, really hard time. I think it took me about 5 years to get adjusted.
Wow.
Yeah, I got pregnant with Layla and again, that was kind of a surprise because I was programmed, like you just work. You work all the time. I've never really thought that I would be a stay-at-home mom. But you know, being a mother, it comes with a lot of joy, but it also comes with a lot of difficulties. And I felt like in the process, I started becoming something I'm not used to.
Yeah.
I've lost a little bit of me. I wanted to find the old Kenda again. I became a new Kenda and I didn't know who I was anymore.
And that's where your photography was birthed, pretty much, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So photography was always a hobby. When I had my daughter, I wanted to take some good pictures of her, but I was always disappointed anywhere I took her. It just wasn't what I wanted. So I was like, you know, if you want the job done right, you gotta do it yourself, right?
True, very true.
So I asked for a camera for one of my birthdays. I think it was like my 29th birthday or something like that. And I got a DSLR camera and I just didn't wanna be a mom with a fancy camera. I wanted to really fully know how to use it. I would spend hours at night when I put the kids to sleep. Just learning. I taught myself. I'm like, okay, what does ISO mean? What does the shutter speed mean? What does all that mean? I wanted to know the functionality of the camera. It's kind of like buying a car that's a stick shift and just putting it on automatic all the time. That's around the time when Facebook came along and social media had started and people started seeing my work and seeing my pictures online and saying, oh my God, I love the way you take pictures. Please, can you take pictures of my family or can you take a picture of my son? And I'm like, me? Really? You want me to do your photos? So that's how it kind of started. Going back to school for photography, I think that gave me the confidence to say, you know what? Yes, I am a photographer. I dedicated my time and my photography career only for babies because I figured if you want to do something right, you just gotta like stick with that one genre or one niche to get it done right. Photography brought me life.
Yeah.
It really did. Photography gave me myself back again.
As long as I've known you, you've always worked.
I did. I had 3 jobs in high school.
Oh my gosh.
I just knew that you have to work hard in order to get what you want. My parents, you know, when we came here, I mean, they didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
I had to really, really work in order to buy my new clothes, to fit in, really, to fit in into this culture.
You know, speaking of culture, I know we both come from a Middle Eastern culture and we are always taught to really work hard for what we want, right? Another thing that we share in common, it was when telling your parents the first time about Lewis.
Yes.
How did that go?
So I never thought I would ever marry someone who's not within my culture. But when I met Lewis, it was just a little different. He really understood. Like, he really understood that when he asked me out, he said, so I'll pick you up around 8 o'clock. And I hesitated. I'm like, that's the time I have to be home. So he's like, you have strict parents, huh? And he goes, I said yes. And right away I'm like, okay, that's it, it's done. You know what I mean? He's never gonna talk to me again. And he's like, how about I pick you up at 4 o'clock? And I'm like, okay, all right, let's do this.
You know, your husband, he's so supportive of you, and he has supported your careers and your pivots. What happened whenever, the pandemic hit?
I realized that I was so addicted to creation that my photography gave me that outlet of creating. I have a vision in my mind and I create it, and it just made me happy. And for a while I wasn't able to do that.
Were you scared?
I was scared because I'm like, what's going to happen? I have a studio, and I was really climbing in my photography career. My name is getting spread everywhere. People are recognizing my name, and it was it was just a wonderful time, and it just kind of shut down. Once that shut down, I found myself at home like everybody else, and I started cooking. I always cooked. I always cooked. I've always felt like cooking was another passion of mine. Like, I feel like I show my family love by making them food, because that's how I perceive love from when I was a child. What I told myself is that, okay, I'm in the kitchen, I have nowhere to go. I'm gonna make my kitchen my studio. Today we're going to be making kanafe. Kanafe is a very popular and famous Middle Eastern dessert. Kanafe dough that looks like angel hair. You can either break it apart or you can cut it. You mix it with butter, and then the inside stuffing is basically cheese. And usually the dish is topped with pistachios and simple syrup on top to make it that extra sweet and crunchy. I'm gonna create. This is gonna give me my creation fix.
And that's where Falafel Diva came in.
That's where Falafel Diva came in. I've made that dish, arsiak, so many times until I mastered my mom. Like, I wanted it to taste like my mom's. I feel like with food, it's a connection, right?
Yeah,
I miss my parents. I miss my mom. I couldn't visit her that summer. By tasting and smelling, I feel like that transforms us to be with that person.
Since then, your blog has grown tremendously. That just goes to show the person that you are, how you went and how you pivoted. Like, you didn't let life lead you, you led your life.
I think having a purpose is so important.
Yeah,
you need to have that fire inside you, and you need to have something to light you up inside, just so you can continue going. And honestly, the past year was one of the most amazing years of my life. I felt like, yes, we didn't do anything, but I did a lot.
Yeah.
And I was able to think about my life and all the experiences that you mentioned. I know my formula to make me happy.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna reapply it here and reapply it there wherever I go.
You're growing, you're evolving. Just as a woman, as an individual, you're growing and evolving. And that's the thing that, anyone that's watching this should see, that this is really important. As women, we change every 5 to 7 years. And if we're not changing and evolving, we're not growing. And there are gonna be times in life that we're gonna have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable again. Mm-hmm. But just know, in those moments, because you're a true testament to that life is just here to show us, and we're here to just go along for the ride. Your story will definitely, like I've said this time and time again, whether it's you and me having a conversation or whether I'm talking about you to somebody else, you're such a true inspiration. Doesn't this remind you of when we were 13 years old, sitting on the front steps of our grandma and our parents' house down the street.
Those
We
were-
would switch, right?
We would switch. You walk over to your place, and then you can walk over to my place, and we would sit in the front. And those
just
were my
talk.
favorite memories.
You know, one of my favorite moments with you, I remember we were getting in the car. I forgot where we were going, but we were maybe like at that time like 14 or 15. Obviously we weren't driving. But you had curly hair. You have really curly hair. And you were talking to me. And I had curly hair too growing up. It was that the blow dryer.
I taught you how to straighten your hair.
You taught
right?
me how to straighten my hair. So that's one of my favorite memories, because I keep remembering that, and then how you would teach me about eyeliner, because I
That's
wasn't really good with eyeliner, and you taught me how to do that too. So that was pretty fun.
But I remember when I would see you outside, and I would look forward to like the summer when you would come from Arkansas, and you just had the cutest accent, and I would just listen to you talk. It was just so cute. I'm like, oh, she's got the cutest accent, and you were my friend. Like, you actually wanted to be my friend, so I thank you for that.
Well, I thank you for accepting me also, because you also inspired me, and I thought I was the coolest person going back to Arkansas, because I had a friend in the big city. So I thought I was cool too.
And I thought I was cool because I had a friend in Arkansas that would come and visit me every summer.
And now look, we're now on the same stomping ground.
I know.
We're
isn't
both
it
back in Chicago. How crazy is that? 30 years later.
full
And we're
circle?
cooking. You're teaching me how to cook. Who would have ever thought?
We went from hair
Eyeliner
to eyeliner
to knafe.
Knafe.
Life. It's so funny, man.
It
Life
really
has a funny way of working out. Kenda, a story of friendship, culture, laughter, and cuisine. A story of a mother who is working hard to raise a family. A story of a businesswoman on a mission to expand. A story of first-generation experiences, and so much more. A story of kindness. For more information about Kenda and her recipe, head to my website at arsac.com, and also connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.